Something is happening, far beyond the quiet edges of the solar system. So far that sunlight takes hours to get there, yet so close that one telescope, one machine built by human hands, just heard it. The James Webb Space Telescope detected a signal, not random noise, not radiation spikes, a structured, repeating, intentional pattern, coming from the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas. 3 pulses, pause, 3 pulses again, too sharp, too exact, too deliberate. Webb wasn't looking for it. It wasn't even listening for it. But the moment its sensors locked onto 3I Atlas, reality shifted. If you're watching this right now, go ahead and subscribe, because this isn't just another deep space anomaly. This is the kind of moment that rewrites what humanity is. At first, astronomers around the world assumed the object was just another wandering visitor like Oumuamua, like Borisov, a frozen traveler carrying dust and stories from other stars. It behaved like a comet. It reflected sunlight. It swung into our system on a trajectory that looked chaotic but predictable. And then Webb picked up something impossible. Each pulse lasted 3.14 seconds. Yes, pi. The mathematical constant found everywhere, from the curvature of galaxies to the structure of atoms to the equations of intelligence. It was like hearing a knock on the door of the universe, and the rhythm was math. Inside NASA, the first reaction was denial. Cosmic rays, instrument noise, thermal fluctuations. But then the analysts reran the waveform. The intervals between pulses lined up with the sequence: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 prime numbers. Exactly the kind of pattern SETI has predicted for decades as the universal signature of a mind reaching outward. This wasn't just light. This wasn't just heat. This was a message. And yet, it got stranger. Webb's deep field sensors detected the pulses across multiple frequencies simultaneously. Infrared, microwave, narrowband radio, 3 different voices, all speaking the same rhythm. The telescope wasn't seeing a signal, it was hearing it. Like an interstellar radio, and 3I Atlas was turning up the volume. By the second night, the scientific community had erupted into chaos. Forums lit up, internal channels overflowed, and then a leak. Dr. Helena Ortiz, one of Webb's senior data analysts, posted a message that lasted only 7 minutes before NASA deleted it. It's not interference. It's not noise. It's a conversation. Screenshots exploded across the internet. And for the first time in decades, the world held its breath. But the next discovery silenced every skeptic. Each time the pulses fired, Webb recorded microscopic changes on the surface of 3I Atlas. Temperature shifts, infrared reflections bending in sync with the rhythm, like the object was modulating itself, adjusting its own surface to transmit information. Natural objects do not behave that way. Then came the moment that shattered every remaining doubt. When the sun's radiation pressure shifted, 3I Atlas didn't drift. It didn't wobble. It didn't react like dust or rock or ice. It corrected its path, a controlled realignment, a steering maneuver, not nature, not gravity, not coincidence. Intention. By now, observatories around the world were tuned in. ESA's station in Spain confirmed identical pulses, the same timing, the same structure, the same voice. Amateur radio astronomers heard faint echoes too. People with backyard antennas were hearing a whisper from deep space. Humanity wasn't just observing anymore. It was listening. And then, audio leaked. A filtered version of the radio pulses. A deep, metallic hum, steady, slow, almost like a mechanical heartbeat. But beneath it, hidden inside the harmonics, was structure, geometry, a tonal pattern resembling triangular and tetrahedral shapes, a sound that encoded form. Dr. Raj Patel from Caltech compared the pulse ratios to biological codon frequencies, the statistics that govern DNA. The match was unsettling. He said, quietly, "If this is a coincidence, then the universe is far stranger than we understand." But none of it prepared NASA for what happened next. During a 13-second blackout in Webb's telemetry feed, internal logs showed something chilling. Webb emitted a pulse, not generated by humans, not commanded, not tested. A pulse that matched the frequency of 3I Atlas, as if the telescope answered. When the feed returned, The object changed its signal, immediately shifting into a new pattern. A response. Hours later, a cluster of encoded bursts arrived. Not primes, not PI, not rhythm, but coordinates. And when NASA decoded them, the room fell silent. The coordinates pointed toward a region near Neptune's orbit, where Webb detected something new. A dark, silent object. Geometrically perfect, flat planes. Angles, symmetry that nature cannot produce. Roughly the size of a small moon. Waiting, listening, responding. Two voices in the dark, two travelers from beyond our star. And for the first time in human history, we heard them speak. The coordinates released by the signal pointed to a region far beyond the orbit of Neptune, a place so dark, so empty, that even sunlight arrived there as a whisper. Yet Webb turned its golden mirror toward that distant patch of sky, and something impossible came into view. A shape, not a blur, not a rock, not a frozen chunk of cosmic debris. A body roughly the size of a small moon, but carved with lines, angles, planes so flat they looked engineered. Geometry in the void. Silence. Shaped. NASA froze the moment it appeared on the telemetry screen. This wasn't gravitational capture. This wasn't coincidence. The arrival of the second object aligned perfectly with the coordinates sent by 3I ATLS. The two objects weren't just near each other. They were communicating, and then the pulses resumed, not from one source, but from both. Webb became an interstellar microphone, hearing two voices, echoing across billions of kilometers. The first signal repeated the familiar triple pulse pattern, but the second object responded, with a delay of exactly 47 seconds. That number mattered. It wasn't random. It was synchronized to the distance between the two bodies, as if the second object were acknowledging receipt of the transmission. A call and a reply. Inside NASA's control room, someone whispered, "They're talking." Government agencies across the world shut their channels. ESA went silent. The Deep Space Network locked its logs. The usual chatter of the scientific community vanished overnight. For the first time since the era of Apollo, everyone with a dish pointed at the sky agreed on one thing. Something intelligent was here, and it wasn't alone. Webb continued analyzing the energy signature of the second object. It emitted no heat, no radiation, no chemical compounds. Yet it reflected starlight in a perfectly controlled pattern, like panels adjusting their angle in response to observation. A machine, silent, watching. Then the first anomaly occurred. As the two objects exchanged pulses, Webb's spectrographs detected a faint isotopic signature in the energy waves. A material unknown to any database on Earth. The closest theoretical match. Metallic hydrogen composite, something that could only exist under impossible pressures, or through the hand of a civilization far more advanced than ours. The pulses intensified. At one point, the overlapping waveforms created a standing resonance, a harmonic lattice, like a shape woven from sound. It formed a perfect toroidal geometry. The same structure theorized in advanced propulsion, in magnetic field modeling, in warp field mathematics. A message made of math, a blueprint made of resonance. Not meant for our ears, but for machines speaking in the language of physics itself. And then the signal changed again. For 2 full days, both objects went silent. No primes, no pulses, no coordinates, nothing but the cold, empty void. Some scientists believed the conversation had ended. Others believed it had only just begun, and we had missed the part not meant for us. But on the third night, the silence broke. A new transmission erupted from both objects simultaneously, a burst of prime numbers ascending toward infinity. 23571131711923. Then it stopped. That was the SETI sequence, the theoretical signature of intelligent contact. But this time, the primes weren't the message. They were the package. Because hidden inside the pulse train was a matrix, a compressed block of geometric vectors. When decoded visually, the image resembled a 3-dimensional helix woven through a toroidal field, a shape eerily similar to a DNA spiral embedded inside a magnetic cage. It wasn't biology. It wasn't chemistry. It was a pattern, a template, perhaps even instructions. Geneticists were brought in. Physicists, too. Nobody agreed on what the matrix represented. A memory? A blueprint? A map? But one phrase began circulating inside NASA, buried in a classified document named Project Echo. we are not the first. No one knew who wrote it. No one knew if it was translation, interpretation, or warning. The leak spread across encrypted channels before being scrubbed from existence. But the damage was done. For the first time in human history, the possibility emerged that the objects weren't here to greet us. They were here to remind us. Remind us of what? That remained hidden. At least, for now. For nearly 48 hours, every observatory capable of scanning deep space turned toward the region near Neptune. But the two objects, 3I, Atlas, and the geometric moon had fallen completely silent. No pulses, no harmonics, nothing. It was as if the universe had closed a door we weren't meant to see behind. Inside NASA, tension reached a breaking point. Internal emails leaked, panicked, fragmented messages. We don't just have a signal, we have a mirror. Tell them it's over. We can't explain what's responding. And then, someone made a discovery that rewrote the entire timeline. At the European Space Operations Center, analysts reviewing archived telemetry stumbled onto something astonishing. The pulse signature had appeared months earlier, buried in background noise, ignored, dismissed, hidden in plain sight since late September. Meaning, we had been hearing this signal long before Webb ever pointed at 3I, ATLS, and possibly long before we had the tools to recognize it. Some physicists proposed a chilling explanation. The signal wasn't sent to us. It was waiting for us. A beacon programmed to activate when a civilization reached a specific detection threshold. When our sensors became advanced enough, the signal turned itself on. We didn't discover it. We triggered it. This idea spread through NASA like wildfire. And with it came a new directive classified under the codename Project Harmonia. Its objective: reverse engineer the waveform hidden inside the pulses. What they found defied everything. The signal wasn't a single stream. It contained 3 separate modulations layered at different time delays. When the layers were superimposed, a shape emerged: a standing wave. A 3D construct made entirely of mathematics. A perfect torus. The same shape found in magnetic fields, planetary magnetospheres, and even theoretical warp drive frameworks. The signal wasn't just data. It was architecture, a blueprint written in resonance. Webb hadn't just recorded light, it had captured a design. But the second shock came when astronomers translated the toroidal geometry into coordinates. The map didn't point only to Neptune's orbit. It pointed to a second location, inside Earth's magnetic field. A resonance node, a faint echo hidden inside the planet's own magnetosphere, mirroring the pattern from 3I, ATLS perfectly. As if the signal were trying to align, not with space, but with us. JPL verified the match. At the exact moment Webb received the first transmission, sensors on Earth recorded a low-frequency magnetic tremor, almost identical to the pulse from the interstellar object. The message wasn't just received, it was reflected. Inside NASA, panic went silent. Not loud, not chaotic, cold. Because if the signal was mirrored inside our own magnetic field, then whatever sent it knew exactly where we are, and has known for a very long time. The next leak came from an ESA analyst, a fragment of decoded data converted into audio spectrum. The sound was alien but eerily familiar, a metallic rhythm, layered harmonics, and beneath it, tonal shifts resembling human phonetics. Linguists compared the frequencies to ancient languages, Sumerian, Akkadian. The similarities were undeniable. Suddenly, everything connected: the tetrahedral shapes, the encoded geometry, the prime number pulses, the helix field matrix, the resonance inside Earth, the ancient vowel patterns. The signal wasn't contacting a new civilization. It was contacting an old one. Archaeologists noticed the geometric patterns matched symbols found in Mesopotamian ruins, tombs, tablets, and carvings dating back nearly 12,000 years. The same era our ancestors made a leap in architecture, astronomy, and mathematics. A leap still unexplained, as if something or someone had visited before. Dr. Helena Ortiz reappeared briefly through a leaked private interview. Her voice was steady, but her expression was exhausted. The signal isn't trying to scare us. It's reminding us. Whatever sent it knew us before we were capable of knowing them. Hours after that leak, magnetometer networks across the Pacific began detecting something new: subtle oscillations, repeating every 23 minutes. The same prime interval where the 3I Atlas transmission ended. Not solar activity. Not human interference. Something invisible was resonating through Earth's magnetic field. Something alive. Something intelligent. Something waiting. Then on November 26th, the silence shattered. A burst of energy erupted from beyond Neptune. Recorded simultaneously by Webb, Hubble's archived sensors, and 3 ground-based arrays. It lasted less than a second, but the signature was identical to the final signal from 3I Atlas. Only this time, the burst wasn't directed at Earth. It was aimed at the Sunday. Astrophysicists noticed something astonishing. The burst aligned with a solar flare emerging from region AR3194, a magnetic anomaly shaped like the same toroidal structure from the signal. It was as if 3I Atlas, or the intelligence behind it, had triggered the Sunday, and at that exact moment, every signal stopped. The waves, the echoes, the resonance tremors, the magnetospheric oscillations. Everything went still. Except for one final anomaly. Webb captured a faint distortion in the background stars barely visible, yet unmistakably artificial. A structure, not solid, not glowing, a gravitational mirror, a ripple in space itself, drifting near the heliopause, as though watching. Scientists named it the mirror. Not a vessel, not a probe, not a satellite. Something older, something stranger. Something reflecting light in perfect geometric symmetry. When magnified, the structure revealed repeating triangular patterns, the same patterns encoded in the original signal, and its alignment with 3I Atlas's last known trajectory was perfect, almost intentional, almost expectant. Whatever was out there, it wasn't done with us. Not yet. The discovery of the mirror triggered worldwide lockdown across every major scientific agency. No press conferences, no statements, no leaks, or so they hoped. But humanity had already crossed the threshold. We weren't waiting for the universe anymore. The universe was waiting for us. Inside NASA, a final internal document circulated, stamped with the emblem of the Office of Planetary Defense. A single phrase was visible before the rest turned black from redaction. Atlas is not alone. Echoes inbound. Nobody knew what echoes meant. Plural. Multiple objects, multiple signals, multiple civilizations, or maybe something even stranger, something carried not in physical objects but in patterns, in harmonics, in information, something that travels as easily through magnetic fields as through the vacuum of space. Scientists kept analyzing the final bursts. Some believed the mirror was a dormant archive. Others believed it was listening, watching, studying us the way we study particles in a beamline. But the most unsettling theory came from the mathematicians inside Project Harmonia. What if the signal is self-replicating, like a seed of memory, a fractal of intelligence, designed to imprint itself onto any civilization that becomes advanced enough to hear it? Not a message, a trigger. Across the deep space network, unexplained communication glitches continued. Power fluctuations, signal dropouts, telemetry loops that reversed themselves without human command. Engineers dismissed it as solar activity, but those who had seen the raw data whispered otherwise. It's scanning us. Then came the final event. A new pulse, short, soft, barely above background noise, appeared at the exact frequency of the original 3I Atlas signal. But this time, it didn't come from the object. It came from inside our own magnetosphere, a perfect imitation of the alien pattern. A reflection so flawless it was indistinguishable from the source. Humanity wasn't receiving anymore. It was echoing. Something had copied the signal, something inside Earth's magnetic field. And the moment that echo activated, Webb recorded its last anomaly. A thin, coherent band of light bending subtly, impossibly, as though space itself vibrated. A ripple that aligned perfectly with the mirror's geometry. A doorway, a transmission channel, a dimensional lens. Nobody could say. But one thing was certain, the mirror responded. Its edges brightened not with light, but with gravitational distortion. A silent acknowledgement, as if answering a question humanity never meant to ask. Observers watched the distortion pulse once, twice, matching the cadence of the original signal. Then everything faded. The mirror dimmed. The echo in the magnetosphere collapsed. The anomalous readings vanished. Webb returned to silence. No more pulses. No more waves. No more whispers from the dark, just quiet. But in the control logs backed up before encryption locked the files, a final note remained. One sentence, unassuming, chilling, contact achieved, awaiting acknowledgement. Humanity never sent that acknowledgement. At least, not intentionally. So who or what answered? No one knows, and maybe we aren't supposed to. Because the last frame captured before Webb went quiet showed something no one expected. The stars, shifting. Not physically, not moving, but bending as though another mirror were forming somewhere beyond sight. A second ripple, a second watcher, a second echo. If 3i, Atlas, was the first to speak, it will not be the last. The universe is no longer silent, and whatever is out there, whatever sent the signal, whatever waits behind the mirror, has already heard us. We are not the first, and we will not be the last.